Welcome back, everyone. In previous episodes, we watched Toan and Diem struggle to tame this wild land, dealing with vegetable patches and lurking dangers from the past. But life isn't just about massive events. It is woven from the small bricks of daily building and nurturing. Today, a big decision was made at Sim Hill. No more solitary hoeing for Toan. They've decided to open their doors and let strangers into their private world for a major project, pouring the backyard concrete. Will the roar of the concrete mixer shatter their peaceful silence? Will these strange workers bring help or prying eyes? And will the lunch cooked by Diem be warm with human connection or hide unspoken stories? Let's breathe in the scent of wet cement and the aroma of roasted pork as we listen to the story of Concrete Day and the strange guests right now. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to catch today's story, guys. Last night's rain turned the backyard into a mushy mud pit again. Early in the morning, Toan pulled on his rubber boots to go get firewood. 2 steps in his foot sank deep into the mud, making a heavy squelch sound as he pulled it out. He sighed, looking at the soaking wet wood pile. For months, every time it rained, the couple suffered. Picking a bunch of vegetables or gathering an egg from the coop meant wrestling with the mud, and the mud tracked right onto the porch, impossible to wipe clean. Diem stood in the kitchen watching her husband struggle to scrape the mud off his boots, and her heart ached. She walked out, handing him a dry towel. "Toan, let's pour concrete for the backyard. Leaving the dirt like this is miserable now that the rainy season is here. I'm afraid you'll slip and fall, and the chickens and ducks track dirt all over the house." Toan wiped the sweat from his forehead, hesitating. "I've thought about it, but the yard is huge, nearly 50 square meters. When would I finish it alone? I could push myself to do it, but mixing mortar by hand is exhausting, and it takes forever to dry." Diem grabbed his sleeve, her voice firm. "That's why I'm saying let's hire workers. I've done the math. With the vegetable money from the last few batches plus our savings, we can afford a crew to finish it in one day. Don't be cheap and don't try to do it alone anymore. Your health is what matters most." Toan looked into his wife's eyes. He knew she worried about his bad back every time the weather turned. But deep down, Toan, with the instincts of a man who had survived many upheavals, was wary of letting strangers into the house. This home was their fortress. Every inch of land, every corner of the garden might hold secrets he wasn't ready to share. But looking at Diem's mud-stained feet, he nodded. "All right, I'll listen to you. I'll go down to the village and call Uncle Car's crew. I hear they're fast and reliable." Around 8 a.m., the silence of Sim Hill was broken by the put-put-put of a modified tractor engine echoing through the mountains. The vehicle, loaded with yellow sand, gravel, and cement, struggled up the slope. Following it were 5 burly men carrying shovels, trowels, and floats. Leading them was Uncle Car, a man around 50 skin, burnt by the sun, with a voice booming like a broken bell. "Morning, Toan. Wow, it's breezy and spacious up here. You kept this place hidden well. Today's the first time we get to come up and see it for ourselves." Toan gave a polite social smile, but his eyes silently and quickly scanned each person in the crew. 3 middle-aged men seemed like skilled, honest workers, a bit rough around the edges. But there was one young guy, cap pulled low over his forehead, constantly glancing around furtively from the chicken coop to the side house. Toan filed that face away in his memory. His wild wolf instinct told him to keep an eye on this kid. "Please come inside and have some tea first," Diem offered warmly, bringing out a pot of green tea. Uncle K waved his hand. "No thanks, miss. It's cool right now, so we want to get to work immediately. Once the noon sun hits, it gets tiring. Toan show me the boundaries for the yard." Work started immediately. The atmosphere became a hustle of labor. The sound of shovels scraping, sand, gravel pouring, and men calling out to each other filled the air. The first task was clearing the ground. The backyard was cluttered with rotting wood boulders and wild bushes blocking the way. Toan didn't just stand around pointing fingers. He rolled up his sleeves and jumped in with the workers. In the corner of the yard, there was a massive blue stone, half buried deep in the ground, blocking the drainage path. 2 workers huffed and puffed, prying at it with a crowbar, but it wouldn't budge. "It's too heavy, Uncle Carr. We'll probably need a sledgehammer to break it into pieces to move it," one worker complained. Toan walked over, his voice calm. "Let me." He stepped down into the dirt pit, took a deep breath, and channeled power into his legs and back muscles. His hands gripped the edges of the rock tight. "Hup!" With a low growl in his throat, the stone weighing hundreds of pounds slowly lifted off the ground as the workers' eyes went wide. Toan walked the rock over and tossed it by the fence with a loud thud. Uncle Carr dropped his jaw, slapping his thigh. "Holy cow, Toan, you look scholarly, but you're built stronger than an ox. If you were a mason, we'd be out of a job." Toan just gave a slight smile, wiping his sweat. He knew he had accidentally revealed a glimpse of his superior physical ability, something a normal farmer rarely possessed. The young guy in the baseball cap shot him another glance, his eyes holding a look of deeper scrutiny. While the men were wrestling with sand and stone in the yard, Diem got ready for the market. Today the house had guests, workers doing heavy labor, so she told herself she had to cook a proper meal. Country folks have a philosophy: treat the workers well, and they'll put their heart into the job for you. Diem changed into neat clothes and wheeled the old motorbike to the gate. She called back, "Toan, I'm going to the market. I'll be back in a flash. There's a pitcher of iced tea in the fridge. If you guys get thirsty, bring it out." Toan nodded, his eyes never leaving the strange young man mixing mortar. "Drive safe. Come back soon." Diem went down to the district market. Today she wasn't selling vegetables. She was buying groceries. Diem had already planned the menu in her head. The savory dish, caramelized pork belly with dried shallots, a rice killer for construction workers. The soup-field crab soup cooked with loofah and jute leaves, perfect for cooling down. The side dish, boiled pork intestine with shrimp paste and a few beers. Dessert, chilled watermelon. Diem weaved through the stalls. "Buying so much meat today? Diem having a party?" the butcher asked warmly. "No, just pave in the backyard. We hired a crew, so I'm making lunch to treat them," Diem replied with a bright smile. "Wow, workers who get a generous host like you will work their tails off. Here, let me pick this rib-removed belly cut for you. It has the perfect mix of fat and lean. Roast this up, and the smell will be irresistible." After buying the meat, Diem ran to the crab stall. She meticulously chose fat field crabs that were still crawling around. She didn't buy pre-ground crab because she feared it wasn't clean. She would take the trouble to pound them herself at home to get the most fragrant roe. Looking at the basket full of food, Diem felt joy in her heart. A woman's joy is sometimes simply caring for and cooking for her husband and those who help them. She wanted Toan to be proud in front of everyone for having such a thoughtful wife. 11 a.m. The sun stood directly overhead, and the heat began to intensify. The backyard was cleared, and the first layer of concrete had been poured. The sharp scent of wet cement mixed with the sour smell of men's sweat. But from the kitchen, a seductive aroma wafted out, waking up everyone's starving stomachs. The smell of fried shallots and rich roasted pork. "Time to take a break. Guys, lunch is ready." Diem's voice rang out clearly. Uncle Carl banged his trowel against the bucket. Clang, clang. "All right, the boss lady has spoken. "Wash up and dig in, I'm starving." Diem had spread a flowered mat on the front porch for a cool breeze. The tray was brought out. It wasn't a royal banquet, but it looked incredibly appetizing. The plate of caramelized pork belly was a beautiful amber color, sprinkled with fragrant pepper. The bowl of green crab soup had golden blocks of roe floating on top. The plate of white boiled intestines sat next to a bowl of shrimp paste, foaming with lemon and chili, and a pot of steaming white new rice. The workers gasped, "Wow, a worker's meal like this. You're the lucky one, Toan. With a wife this capable who could compare." Toan smiled, pouring beer into glasses for everyone. "Here, have a beer to cool down first. Thank you all for working so hard all morning." Everyone raised their glasses for a crisp cheers. The meal was lively. The casual banter of the builders made the atmosphere friendly. The young guy in the cap, named Hung, finally took it off. He picked up a piece of pork intestine and casually asked Toan, "Hey Toan, I see you're incredibly strong, and you have such a commanding presence. What did you do before this? You don't look like someone who's been a farmer since childhood." The atmosphere at the tray dipped a beat. Diem paused mid-scoop, her hand freezing slightly. She glanced at her husband. Toan remained calm, picking up some vegetables, his expression unchanging. "Oh, I used to work as a porter at the border crossing. I'm used to heavy lifting, so switching to farming wasn't too much of a shock. Farming is peaceful, buddy. The rat race out there is exhausting." Toan answered skillfully, explaining his strength porter while dodging his past. Uncle Ka chimed in. "Exactly, having a piece of land to call your own, and a happy marriage like you two is the best. We work all year round just hoping to have this when we get old." The conversation shifted to material prices and crop seasons. But Toan still felt Hung's eyes occasionally darting into the house, as if he were searching for something more than just curiosity. In the afternoon, work continued with more urgency to finish before dark. Diem didn't rest either. She made a huge pitcher of sugary lemon water for the workers. Afterward, she helped Toan level the concrete surface. Wherever Toan moved the float, the surface became flat and smooth. The couple's coordination made the work flow surprisingly well. Around 4 p.m., the 50-square-meter yard was covered in a smooth ash-gray layer. Uncle Ka walked around inspecting it, nodding, "Beautiful. This concrete grade is strong. Later on, even if you drive a car right into the yard, it won't crack." While the concrete was still wet, Diem suddenly had an idea. She ran into the house, grabbed a small stick, and ran to the corner of the yard where people walked the least. "Diem, Toan, come here." Toan walked over, looking at his wife curiously. Diem squatted down, using the stick to carefully write a small line of text on the wet concrete. "Tandy, happy home." Then she pulled Toan's hand, telling him to place his palm next to the writing. She placed her small hand next to his large one. 2 handprints impressed deep into the soft concrete. Diem giggling. "Like this 50 years from now, our children and grandchildren will see this and know how hard their grandparents worked to build this yard together." Toan looked at their handprints. An indescribable emotion surged within him. This wasn't just concrete. This was a seal of sovereignty, a statement that he and she would hold their ground, here build happiness here, regardless of the past or whatever the future held. 5 p.m., the work was done. The crew packed up their tools and washed up. Toan paid the wages fairly and even tipped the guys a little extra for drinks. Diem packed up the leftover watermelon and some sweets for them to take home as gifts for their kids. The couple's generosity and kindness deeply touched the workers. Uncle Ka shook Toan's hand firmly. "Thank you both. If you need anything else done, just give us a holler. Wishing you prosperity." The tractor engine sputtered to life again. Put, carrying the crew away from Sim Hill, returning the silence to its rightful place. Toan and Diem stood looking at the freshly smoothed yard, their hearts full of joy. But as Toan turned to go inside, his eyes accidentally swept over the spot where Hung the guy in the cap had been resting earlier. On the ground, something had been left behind. Toan bent down to pick it up. It wasn't a cigarette pack or a lighter. It was a small scrap of paper looking like it had been hastily torn from a notebook. On the paper was a scribbled diagram. Toan narrowed his eyes to look closer. It was a diagram of his house. The front door, the back door, and especially the bedroom location were all marked with red X's. Toan crushed the paper in his hand. His eyes darkened. Turns out the wild wolf instinct was never wrong. Hung wasn't just a simple mason. He was someone's eyes and ears planted inside. Hiring workers today had inadvertently opened the door for the enemy to scout the lair. Diem saw Toan standing dazed and asked, "What's wrong, honey? Are you tired?" Toan startled quickly, shoving the paper into his pocket, turning back to smile and reassure his wife. "No, I'm fine. Just admiring the yard. It looks beautiful, honey." He didn't want to ruin Diem's joy today. But in Toan's mind, a new counterplan began to take shape. This concrete yard. Tonight he would probably have to stay up to guard it, not to stop dogs or cats from running across it, but to watch for the footprints of strangers returning. Darkness had completely enveloped Sim Hill. Warm yellow light spilled from the porch, reflecting off the wet sheen of the newly poured concrete. The workers had left, taking their noise with them, returning the inherent silence to the space. But within that silence, human hearts were in turmoil. Diem watched Toan, the man with broad shoulders, and a back stained with lime and mortar, carefully watering the surface to cure the concrete. She felt her heart tighten. A feeling of happiness, pity, and guilt welled up inside her. Why did a talented man like him have to bury his life in this sacred forest, toxic water wilderness with her? Let's listen to the heart-wrenching confidences of the young couple in the quiet, moonlit night to understand that sometimes the greatest sacrifice in love isn't dying for each other, but living for each other in the fullest way possible. I invite you to listen to the next episode, Happiness is Suffering with You. Darkness slowly swallowed Sim Hill, bringing with it the biting cold characteristic of the mountains at night. A faint crescent moon hung suspended above the old bamboo tops, casting its reflection on the wet concrete yard. The space was so quiet you could clearly hear crickets chirping in the grass, and the steady, tired yet peaceful breathing of everything after a day of intense labor. Diem sat hugging her knees on the wooden steps, her eyes fixed on Toan's broad back, as he busied himself clearing away the leftover formwork in the garden corner. The flickering light from the oil lamp in the kitchen cast his long shadow against the wall, huge and steady, like a mountain shielding her life. In Diem's heart right now rose a poignant mix of pity and emotion that words couldn't describe. She replayed every moment of the day. From before dawn until the sun faded, Toan hadn't rested his hands for a single minute. He took on all the heaviest tasks, from carrying heavy bags of cement up the steep slope, to braving the scorching noon sun, to shovel stone. She remembered vividly the moment a worker's assistant accidentally splashed cement mortar toward her. Toan had moved fast, as lightning using his bare back to shield her, letting the stinging caustic mortar cling to his skin. And at lunch, he skillfully picked the leanest, most delicious pieces of meat for her bowl, while happily eating the fatty skin himself, laughing and chatting loudly so she wouldn't worry. Every gentle gesture, every caring look cut into Diem's heart with sweet but painful incisions. Tears naturally welled up, rolling down cheeks tanned by wind and dew. She felt sorry for him. She felt sorry for the man who belonged in shining skyscrapers in luxury suits and lavish parties she had only heard rumors about. Now, because of her, because of this temporary little family, he had become a mud-stained farmer. Hands that used to sign billion-dollar contracts were now calloused, cracked, and full of bloody scratches from gravel and wire. She felt so guilty. It was her poverty and her troubles that had dragged him into this swamp, trapping him in a life of hardship he shouldn't have had to endure. Toan finished washing his hands and feet. Turning around, he saw his wife sitting there, dazed, her thin shoulders shaking slightly. He hurried over, sitting down beside her. The scent of soap mixed with masculine sweat hit Diem's senses. He gently raised a large, rough, yet strangely warm hand to wipe the tear from her cheek. His voice was deep and warm, laced with a bit of worry. "What's wrong, honey? Too tired? Or did that guy Hung say something to upset you?" "I'm sorry. I'll finish the rest of the work tomorrow. You just rest. Don't worry about anything." His words only broke the dam, holding back Diem's tears. She turned and threw her arms around his neck, burying her face in his broad, steady chest, letting her tears soak into his shirt. She choked out between sobs. "Toan, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I can't stand seeing you suffer like this. Other men get married and are taken care of by their wives. But you married me, and all you do is suffer. You have to work like a dog from dawn till dusk. I wish you would remember your past soon. I wish you'd get your memory back so you could return to the man you used to be. So you wouldn't have to bury your life in this god-forsaken place, eating plain meals and wearing torn shirts." Toan froze for a moment. He tightened his embrace, gently stroking her hair that smelled of locust fruit shampoo. He understood Diem's thoughts. He understood the guilt and the boundless love she had for him. But Diem didn't know. She didn't know that the very past she was praying for him to remember was to him a nightmare, a cold, gilded cage he never wanted to return to. He remembered the hand-drawn map he had found earlier that afternoon. He remembered the dangers lurking out there. But he chose to bury it all just to keep this moment perfect. He lifted Diem's tear-stained face, looking deep into her dark eyes. His gaze was steadier and gentler than ever. He shook his head, slightly smiling. "You silly girl. Do you think I'm suffering? Do you think I want to go back to being some CEO you've imagined?" Diem, listen to me. Yes, manual labor is hard. Sometimes my back hurts so much I can't sleep. Sometimes I'm so tired I want to give up. But you know what? Every time I lie down, I sleep soundly. I don't have to worry. I don't have to watch my back for people trying to scam me. And most importantly, every morning when I open my eyes, I see you. I see our home. I see the vegetables we planted growing day by day. That is happiness, honey. Toan paused for a moment as if swallowing the emotions rising in his chest, then continued, his voice dropping low, like the whispering night wind. "In the past, maybe I was rich. Maybe I drove fancy cars and lived in a mansion. But I bet I never had a meal as delicious as the lunch you cooked today. I never had anyone sit and mend a torn shirt for me. I never had anyone cry because they hurt for me like you are right now. That past, if it comes back, it might steal this peace from me. It might steal you from me. So I don't need it. I only need this present moment. Even if I have to sweat or even bleed to protect this tiny happiness, I'm willing. I feel the hardship, yes. But in that hardship, I found the meaning of my life. I found that I am a real man who can protect the woman he loves. So please stop crying. Don't wish for me to be anyone else. Just let me be your Toan, the rough farmer, who loves you more than anything in this world. Okay. Huyen's words flowed like a cool stream into Diem's anxiety-withered soul. She looked at him, her eyes still swimming with tears, but now shining with ultimate happiness. She realized that this man didn't just have broad shoulders for her to lean on. He had a heart that was incredibly generous and deep. She nodded, burying her head in his chest once more, whispering, "Okay, I won't cry anymore. I'll do everything with you. As long as we're together, I can endure any hardship." Toan kissed her forehead lightly. The two of them just sat there, leaning on each other in the quiet darkness, watching the wet concrete yard, slowly setting their handprints embedded there as eternal proof of this love. But while Diem was drowning in a sense of absolute safety, Toan remained alert. Even while holding his wife, his eyes secretly darted toward the clump of thorny bamboo in the corner of the garden, the darkest spot. His ears perked up, listening for any strange sound. His hand unconsciously tightened into a fist. He knew this piece was incredibly fragile. The piece of paper in his pocket felt like a burning coal, reminding him that the wild wolf was not allowed to sleep. The happiness he just affirmed to Diem, he would have to use his very life to defend it against the coming storm. Tonight Sim Hill is quiet, but it is the quiet before the tempest. And in the shadows of this happy home, a man is awake, ready to fight the whole world to keep the smile on the face of the woman sleeping in his arms.
Này mới tầm 30 giây được không?